Here we are, folks. In 1975, our first guest was part of the writing team that created Saturday Night Live. Since then, he's been covering political conventions for CNN, as well as publishing the bestseller Rush Limbaugh is a Big Fat Idiot and Other Observations. Yes. His latest book, Why Not Me, is in stores now. Please welcome the Emmy and Grammy Award winner, Al Franken. Thanks for coming, Al.
Oh, my pleasure.
So, great to have you here, and I love the book, but why don't you tell us what it's all about?
Well, it's called Why Not Me?
Mm-hmm.
The inside story of the making and unmaking of the Franken presidency.
Right.
In it, I run. Now, I know this is. I don't know how much you Canadians know about the United States, but we have a president, as opposed to your parliamentary system.
Right.
And every 4 years we have what's called a presidential election. I understand you're a democracy and we're a democracy too, but I don't know how much.
But
you know
I
about
think this is heady stuff. Maybe slow down a little.
Okay. Well, anyway, in the year 2000, we're going to have another election.
Right. Okay.
And I run for office in it. And you see, after my last book, Rush Limbaugh is a Big Fat Idiot. A number of people asked me to run for office. They said you're fairly articulate. You know a lot about politics. You're very, very good looking.
Yeah.
Why not run for office? And I tried to explain I'd be a terrible office holder, and that's why I decided to write this book. Okay. I'm a terrible president.
Now you trash Gore in the book, and you trash him constantly in the book. Your presidential diaries, especially.
Well, let me explain. In the United States, we have two main political parties.
Right.
The the Democrats and Republicans.
Right. Okay.
And I'm a Democrat, and Gore is our vice president. He's like the.
Isn't he also a Democrat? I don't want to skip ahead. But
yes.
Isn't he also?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Maybe you've been picking some of this up from Buffalo.
Yeah. Yeah. It's possible.
Anyway.
Possibility. Yeah.
So I'm a Democrat, and I run for the Democratic nomination. So of course I have to trash Gore, but I like him actually very much. I think he's a very good vice president.
Right.
And we'll make a great president.
Yeah. You think he will be the next president of the United States, Al?
I think so. He's a little. He's not as charismatic as some of your Canadian politicians.
Right.
But. It's fine. I like him a lot. In fact, the first time I met him and his wife, I was doing the 1994 White House Correspondents' Dinner, which I was a host of, like you're a host of every that last.
Actually, you're the only person who was asked back twice for that, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah. And you'll be asked back for one of those other.
I hope so.
Anyway,
once I get your system down.
Yeah, yeah. So, but the first time I did, I was very nervous about what kind of material you could do. So, I went up to Mrs. Gore at there was a cocktail party for people at the dais. On the dais, including the vice president.
Would that be a table here? Would it be a table?
I guess in Canada it'd be called a long table.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Anyway, what do you call this? This is a chair back where we're.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so I said to Tipper, I have a joke about your husband, and not sure whether to tell her or not. My instinct tells me it's a little over the line, and I shouldn't tell her. She said, well, what's the joke? I said, well, okay, the joke is Vice President Gore recommitted himself to the environment today by announcing that he's changing the policy on the stick up his butt. Evidently, instead of replacing the stick every day with a new stick, he's going to keep the same stick up there throughout the entire administration. Experts say this will save an entire rainforest. And she looked at me and said, I'd go with your instinct.
Okay.
So I didn't tell the joke.
Now, in the book, you run on a very specific one-issue platform.
Yes.
What is that?
Lowering ATM fees.
Right. Very good. I thought you were going to have to explain. We call that a bank machine here.
Uh-huh. What's a bank machine?
It's an ATM.
Oh.
All right.
Oh, I got it.
So, so you win based on your lower ATM policy.
Well, the Y2K bug affects only one thing, ATM machines. This ATM meltdown sort of...
You slide in on that.
Yeah.
You slide into office.
And then I'm a terrible president. The first day, my inaugural, we have an inauguration. Yeah. And during the inaugural address, it's a miscalculation. I decided to use it to apologize for slavery. Right. By quoting freely from the movie Mandingo.
Mandingo, yeah.
And which sends me into it's not well received.
No.
And that sends me into a deep depression. I start getting medicated.
Yeah. I believe you quote dialogue from the movie during your inaugural, don't you?
Yeah, but we shouldn't do it here.
No. No. Trust me, that'll be understood.
Yeah. And I go into this deep depression, get medicated, and start having very sort of bipolar episodes. Like during a low, I punch Nelson Mandela in the stomach on stay visit and rupture his spleen.
But your spin doctors take care of that one, don't they?
Yeah, it's tough though.
Yeah.
They say that Mandela was attacking me.
Yeah.
But then
because you could often misconstrue a wave for a punch.
Well, he was using a fire poker to poke because I was late. Anyway, then during a manic high, I have myself cloned.
Yeah.
And the embryo is placed in Anne Heche's uterus. And in fact, the whole epilogue of the book is told 50 years hence by my clone, Alonzo Heche DeGeneres, who is curator of the Franken Presidential Library, which contains 144 rooms, one for each day in office. And
we don't want to give away the ending and how your presidency ends. I'm sure a lot of people could guess, but we want them to buy the book.
But you know how long it lasts.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's not really the ending.
No, I know. I enjoyed the book greatly, and I hope it sells well.
Well, it has been. It's a New York Times bestseller. That's a city in... Now, I know that you... I kid. You Canadians.
No, I know you do.
Because by the way, I'm from Minnesota, so I'm from north of here.
Yeah, that's right. There was a small section or town in your state that wanted to secede from the Union and join Canada last year, actually.
Really?
Yeah, you didn't hear about that?
No, what? Yeah. International Falls or...
What was it? Well, I can't remember the name of the town. Does anybody remember? Anybody want to go through the old monologues for a minute? It was a small town in northern Minnesota that wanted to secede from the Union.
Get all the benefits of
being Canadian.
Health.
Yeah, the glitch was they wanted to stay with American currency. So we let them go.
When I was a kid, Canadian currency, by the way, was worth a lot.
Yeah, it was worth, actually there was a time when it was worth 10 cents more than an American dollar.
Yeah.
But you people didn't give it to us.
Yeah.
You didn't. We'd go to places like Buffalo, and they would say, "No, what's that?" They wouldn't give us anything for it.
Stuff, of course.
Yeah, well, we were smuggling for years.
Yeah.
For years.
And now we got to smuggle back.
Yeah.
Which is harder because our
you were better off to smuggle drugs than a pair of running shoes for your kid at one time. You'd get into big trouble. Now you were a writing partner with Tom Davis.
Franken and Davis.
I was a huge fan of the show in those days when you were with Franken and Davis. Now, we never hear of Tom Davis anymore. What happened to him?
Well, he lives in Mount Kisco, New York, and is married to a veterinarian.
Wow.
They have lots of dogs. and he writes screenplays, and we're friends, and you just don't...
You're still buddies.
Yeah.
Because you guys were there from day one.
We went to high school together in Minnesota.
Yeah. Oh, okay. The last time I was a real Saturday Night Live fan was during the Al Franken decade.
During the 80s.
Yeah, during the 80s, yeah. That was the last
about
time.
to be the Al Franken millennium.
Yes.
But by the way, I just want to, everywhere I go, I just want to say, the millennium does not start until January 1st, 2001.
Right. That's actually, people are off by a year, you're right.
Yeah, so this New Year's, Dick Cavett, George Will, and I are renting a Concorde, and we're just going from time zone to time zone to tell people to calm down. It's not the millennium.
I think just seeing those two with you will help you meet that end. Really.
That would come.
I think people will be very calm when they see Dick Cavett and George Wolfe.
Yeah, you're right.
I can't think of two more calming influences than those two guys. They make me sleepy, those two. Downright.
You've never been with them on a Concorde.
No, if I were going to be on a plane with them, I'd want it to be a Concorde. Trip would be over like that.
From Toronto to New York.
You're not going to fly on New Year's Eve, are you?
No. I am a little. That's the one thing I won't do. You know, they're doing in China. They're making the equivalent of the FAA. I don't know what the Canadian equivalent of the FAA is, but
it's one guy.
Well, in China, they are making those guys fly on New Year's Eve.
In China.
Because they figure that's where they'll get their stuff together.
Well, I want to thank you very much for coming by.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
And it was a real pleasure to have you here, and I wish you luck with the book tour, too.
Well, thank you.
Al Franken, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back with Angela Vint.